The date for MCC 33 was revealed a few days ago to be August 5th, and with the event almost 2 weeks out, I decided I wanted to make my own MCC 33 teams before the actual team announcements. Remember, these teams are just for fun and might never happen, unless Scott is watching and wants to make them happen, which I'm totally fine with. Please, Scott. Anyways, comment down below your thoughts on my teams because I'm interested to see what you guys think. Also, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's just get right into it. First up, we have the Red Rabbits with Wally Bear, Awesome Dude, Foolish Gamers, and Antvenom with Scott's method of 8,271. Now, this team is one of my favorites, but I wouldn't say like my top three. I still kind of like it though, to be honest. I really wanted to put Wally on his own team and have him be the leader of his own team, kind of like an MCC 32 on blue. And I think this team can actually help him achieve like a top 8, top 10 sort of placements, even though he did get 11th, which is basically top 10, if we're being honest, in MCC 32. But I think this team could definitely boost him to like maybe even top 5, because Sam and Foolish are both like really decent and kind of like they're actually pretty good secondary players when it comes to MCC. Foolish has kind of been off and on, but Sam has had a 12th and 10th placement before. So I think this team can definitely help Wally pop off. And Antvenom is not bad at all, having 3 placements all in the top 25 in his past 3 events. And this team is probably the most well-rounded team, I would say. The only thing that they might struggle at might be PvP, just a little bit. I feel like this team might be a little bit, not great at PvP, even though Wally is. I don't think the rest of the team is that good. But yeah, otherwise, besides that, this team very well rounded. And I think the third or fourth strongest team I created this time around. But yeah, let me know what you think about this team down below in the comments, because I think it's very interesting and they have a lot of pop-off potential. I really like this team. Cool team. Next up, we have the Orange OCElots with Punz, Ryguy Rocky, Finster, and Blushy, with Scott's method of 7,486. I really like this team. This is one of my favorite teams to make, but also surprisingly the weakest team, with Scott's method of 7,486. That's most likely the reason, because Blushy usually places in the bottom 10, and then Punz, of course, has been placing in the bottom half of the top 10 in recent events. So that's the main reason why it's kind of weak, but I think this team actually has a lot of pop-off potential if they can get like 2 pretty decent games in the later half. I don't know what those games would be. I'm guessing it would have to be Punz's best games, so maybe some kind of, I don't know, maybe this team could do pretty well at Ace Race, some kind of like movement game, or maybe Parkour Tag they could do pretty well in. I think Parkour Tag they might actually be able to do pretty well in. But yeah, I think this team, it's sort of like MCC 32 Aqua. I wanted to have Ryguy be the secondary player again, which I think this team actually succeeds in doing. And yeah, I think this team is overall a pretty fun team. I think this team would actually kind of be a really cool team to watch as like just a VOD. You know what I mean? Like this team is, I like this team. I like this team a lot. Let me know what you think about this team down below in the comments. And yeah, tell me, would they place top half, bottom half? Would they get to dodgebolts? Let me know your thoughts down below. Next up, we have the Yellow Yaks with PeteZahHutt, SB, Cub Fan, and Good Times with Scar, with Scott's method of 7,962. Now, it's beyond me why this team doesn't have like a 8,200 plus average, to be honest. And I don't actually know how this team hasn't happened yet. We haven't seen the Pete and SB duo. It was 17 the only time we saw it. I think 17 was the only time we saw it, which is kind of sad, to be honest. Unless I'm forgetting a time, but I'm pretty sure 17 was the only time we saw Pete and SB, which is kind of sad because everybody loves that duo, to be honest, and the SB and Grian duo, of course, and Pete and Grian. But like, I think this team actually is one of those like Pete teams that kind of has a lot of variety, because usually Pete's teaming with Scar, Cub, Solidarity, or like Kara. He teams with a very like similar kind of people, and I feel like this team falls into that, but at the same time has its own like branch out of like uniqueness, and I really like this team. I think SB and Scar have teamed together, right? Cub and Scar have teamed like twice together, I think. They're a good duo because they're Hermitcraft buddies. So I think this team is very strong, to be honest. I think this team could definitely place top 3, probably like 4th or 3rd, to be honest, maybe not top 2. But yeah, this team really is a really cool team, and I really like this team. I think this team is a total vibe. this might be a fan favorite for a lot of people when it comes to like, all of these teams. I think this might be the favorite for a lot of people. Next up, we have the Lime Llamas with Purpled, Smager, Jack Manifold, and G Nelly with Scott's method of 8,549. Dude, this team is somehow the strongest team out of all of these teams, which is insane because, like, Purpled and Smager is a pretty strong duo, but it's not that bad. It's not, like, super, super strong. Like, I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's because Purpled is broken. Like, Purpled literally has a 3,300 and whatever average. Like, that's crazy, man. Like, that's insane, dude. Like, Purpled is so broken right now when it comes to team making because whatever team he's on, he just automatically makes it OP. So even this team, with 2 role players and a secondary player, he's making it OP, which is crazy, man. I mean, this is literally almost like his MCC 32 team, except for I would say a lot of people would say Scott is probably better than Rye Guy, and then maybe a Jack and G are better than Erit and Kara. That's debatable. But yeah, this team is arguably better than MCC 32, but also arguably worse at the same time. So it's like it's weird, but also but I don't know. It's just so weird, man. Purple has really kind of not ruined, I would say, but kind of screwed up team making because of how cracked he is. So you have to nerf him every time, but sometimes it doesn't even work. Like I thought this team would kind of be a nerf for him, but it's not. So at the end of the day, this team is still very interesting because, yeah, somehow Purple never gets nerfed, man. Next up, we have the Green Geckos with Illumina, Tubbo, Beckymon, and Snifferish with Scott's method of 8,245. I don't really know what to think about this team, to be honest. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I think this team actually is pretty decent, to be honest. I've kind of followed the trend of Tubbo's teams for the last couple of events, him being teamed with Beckymon a lot. He also teamed with Sniff a couple events back. So yeah, I thought it'd be cool to have Tubbo, in here with his friends. And then I don't think he's teamed with Illumina before. I don't think Tubbo and Illumina have been a duo before. So I thought that was kind of cool to put in here. But yeah, overall, I think this team's pretty well-rounded. Decently enough well-rounded, but I think against the other teams, this team wouldn't do that great. But still, nonetheless, cool team, and maybe the Illumina and Tubbo team, or the Illumina and Tubbo duo can pop off, kind of like the, Antfrost and Tubbo? Yeah, Antfrost got like 4th or 3rd, and Tubbo got like 7th, and MCC 28? 28, I think. Yeah, that was a cool little duo, underrated duo. And yeah, maybe the Illumina and Tubbo duo can replicate that. Anyways, cool team, and yeah. It's gonna be full of vibes. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be a vibe. Next up, we have the Cyan Coyotes with JojoSolos, Krinios, Solidarity Gaming, and AMZ with Scott's method of 8,449. Dude, this team is sick. I really enjoyed making this team. At first, I had who was it, Erit instead of AMZ, but then I decided to put AMZ in because AMZ, I feel like AMZ would just fits this team better than Erit, if you know what I mean. But Erit, I think, would have worked a little bit well because I know Erit and Jojo have teamed before, and Erit and Krinios have teamed before. But I think AMZ still fits well because they are friends with JojoSolos, and like that would work well. And also I feel like they would vibe pretty well with Jimmy and Ryan as Krinios. So yeah, I think that works pretty well, to be honest. I think the team chemistry is here, and I think this team actually can do pretty decent at really any game, to be honest. So I think this team is I think this team is the most broken here overall, if I'm gonna be honest. And yeah, I really like this team, and I think this team is going to be a fan favorite for most people when it comes to these teams that I made this time around. I think this team will probably be it probably is the best team, and then because I don't think the average really lies on this one. I think the average really does tell the full story here, and yeah, I really did enjoy making this team, and I think it's pretty great. Next up, we have the Aqua Axolotls with 5-Up, Shadoon, Bad Boy Halo, and Captain Gato with Scott's method of 7,906. Yeah, I really like this team. I thought that this team would be a cool team to make. I put Bad on this team because he does play on the QSMP, which is a half Spanish, half English Minecraft server. So yeah, he knows a little bit of Spanish to help communicate to his teammates. And I thought, why not give 5UP his own team with a duo of Shadoon? Shadoon got his own team with the Cyan Captains and MCC 32. So I was like, why not pair him up with 5UP? Because like these are two guys that are kind of like the non-S tiers, but they sometimes get their own teams with another duo that almost makes it like they're an S tier. So I thought, why not? Why not do that again? And this time with 5UP and Shadoon. And I think it's a really cool duo. And with Bad and Captain Gato, I think it's a pretty well-rounded team. Not gonna lie, their average might be a little bit low, or it might be kind of. It might be kind of representing, I don't know, but I think overall this is a really cool team, and I would actually want to see this team in the event someday, not gonna lie. It would be kind of cool. I feel like they would actually do decently well. I think they would be top 5, maybe 6th or 7th, but I think they would do pretty good, and I actually kind of really like this team. I think this team is a realistic team to be in an event someday. Next up, we have the Blue Bats, which is probably my second favorite team overall for all 10 of these teams that I made this time around. And we have Krtzyy, Philza, Sneaksnag, and Michael McChill with Scott's method of 8,168. Dude, I loved making this team. This team is so sick. This team is going to be hilarious. Phil, Sneak, and Michael on the same team is so funny. And having Dave as the leader is actually really good. I think this team is very well-rounded, very funny, and just would be very entertaining to watch. Like, seriously, I think this is one of the most perfect teams I think I've ever made. And also, it's pretty realistic. Like, I think this could actually be in an actual event someday down the line. Like, I think this will continue Dave's S tier, in quotes, arc, as people have been calling it. I think this is a really cool team. I really like it. Very well-rounded, very funny, and yeah, my second favorite team overall this time around. And let me know what you think about this team down below in the comments, because it's very interesting. Next up, we have our second to last team, and my favorite team I made this time around. I really like this team, and without further ado, here are the Purple Pandas, with Fruitberries, Smallishbeans, Pearlescent Moon, and Mythical Sausage, with Scott's method of 7,940. Dude, this team is awesome. I love putting the Fruit and Smallishbeans duo together. I think you guys know that by now. I've done it, twice, but then last time I put what? Purple then Joel? Yeah, I put Purple then Joel together. And I don't think they have played together, so hopefully they get to play together someday. But I love the Fruit and Smallishbeans duo, and I want Pearl to get her win because I know she's rumored to be back in 33. So I was like, why not? And I also know that the MCC 24 Cyan is rumored to be back, which I'm down for, but I'd rather have this team to get Pearl's win, not gonna lie. Actually, no, I'd rather have MCC 24 Cyan get Pearl's win, but if this team even got close, that'd still be really cool. And Sausage would get his first win, right? Yeah, it would also be Sausage's first win, which is cool. And I think this team is actually pretty decent. Like, Pearl as a third player is actually pretty good, and having Fruit and Joel on the same team is like, you're gonna be cracked. So I think overall this team is amazing, and I think this definitely could get Pearl's win. But if they don't get a win, then they're probably gonna get the dodgebolt. So it would still come close. So hopefully this team could get Pearl's win. Hopefully it could happen someday. And last, but certainly not least, we have the Pink Parrots, with Fire Breathman, Hannah XX Rose, Cryptic Zeus, and Vixella, with Scott's method of 7,598. This team is awesome. I saved, quote-unquote, the best for last. I guess you could say this is probably the best duo for last. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you put Fruit and Joel over it or whatever. But I think this team is a lot like MCC 17 Pink, which I was inspired by, of course, having, Zeus and Vixella as the last two players and the two kind of key role players here, except for Zeus has gotten better. And Vixella also has kind of gotten better because she got 27th and scuffed, which is actually pretty decent considering she usually gets bottom 5. So, I mean, yeah. They've been improving, and Hannah, I guess, has been improving because she got 9th in her last events, which means she could be on the rise. And of course, Shane is top 2, top 3 MCC player right now. So, this team is cracked on all ends. And really, the only thing I think that would be really bad for them, would be probably one of the games that's like a game that just screws them over, I think. So hopefully they can get a couple games that would be their best as last. And yeah, I think this team has a really good shot at winning. If this all 10 of these teams were like in an event, I think this team would be one of the favorites. Not gonna lie. So yeah, let me know what you think about this team down below in the comments, because it might be my most interesting team I've made yet. And yeah, subscribe and leave a like if you did enjoy. And yeah, click on one of these videos to keep on watching my content. And as always, peace.